When condoned theft by a society is perceived as morally acceptable as long as the perpetrators of that theft operate under the color of law and perceived authority, then the sky's the limit as to how far these people will go when they're trying to swindle you out of more of your hard-earned income. So buckle yourselves in, maybe get a barf bag and take a look at this. Okay guys, you've probably already heard of civil asset forfeiture. And if you haven't, that's where police can seize your property without having to prove that you actually committed a crime.
Like mostly hundreds.
Tonight, News Channel 5 Investigates uncovers a brand new policing for profit case. This case resulted in a New York man losing a whopping $160,000 on a Tennessee interstate.
What you are seeing is video that one mid-state police agency kept under wraps for more than a year.
Hey, you don't have any knives on you, do you? No knives? No guns?
It shows how an Indian-American businessman from New York lost $160,000 during a nighttime traffic stop along I-40 in Dixon County.
Holy crap!
Money that authorities would eventually be forced to return more than a year later. The cash was seized by an interdiction officer from the 23rd Judicial District Drug Task Force. The agency gets its funding by seizing cash, usually from out-of-state drivers, often minorities, when officers have suspicions that it might be drug money.
That's all hundreds. Are there any large sums of money over $5,000 in cash in the vehicle? Okay, there's not.
In this case, the New York businessman who was in the passenger seat did not want to admit how much cash he was carrying, although his driver did tell the officer that they were headed to Memphis to try to buy a convenience store.
Looking for some work business, yeah.
What kind of business do you have?
Grocery.
Do groceries?
Convenience store, yeah.
Is it okay if I search it, make sure there's no guns or drugs in the vehicle?
After convincing the men to consent to a search, the officer immediately found the cash in a plastic bag in the back seat.
Hey, what's all this? What's all this money? You said you didn't have any large amounts of money in the vehicle. Turn around for me, okay? Hands behind your back, you too.
That's when his tone became much more adversarial.
Now, guys, something's not right. Y'all aren't telling me the truth. You know, I don't know. Honestly, if we can't link it to drugs, it's still a currency violation.
Agents from the 21st Judicial District, also working I-40, took $275,000 off of an African man who had come to America to buy bulldozers. He eventually got every penny back, but it took 3 years.
But now the Oklahoma Highway Patrol has a new device to steal your money directly from your bank account on the spot. And they're already using it. The Electronic Recovery and Access to Data Machine, known by the acronym ERAD, can scan your bank account and prepaid cards, giving OHP instant access to not only balance, but also the funds if a trooper believes the money is tied to crime. OHP rolled out 16 ERAD devices in May and unsurprisingly has already employed the technology. You don't even have to be charged with a crime to be a victim of these badge-wearing armed robbers, which makes OHP's ERAD device an astounding new money-making prospect. Oklahoma Highway Patrol Lieutenant John Vincent said, "We're going to look for different factors in the way you're acting. We're going to look for if there's a difference in your story or if there's some way we can prove that you're falsifying information to us about your business." What it looks like Vincent is saying here is that OHP will be trying their darndest to find some reason to rob you at gunpoint. Listen to what he says. If you can prove that you have a legitimate reason to have that money, it will be given back to you. And we've done that in the past. Oh, thank you very much. Now you got to prove to officers why you have a certain amount of cash. You even got to prove to officers why you have a certain balance on your debit card.
This is News 9's Aaron Brobach. We've probably heard of civil asset forfeiture. That's where police can seize your items in your property without proving that you've committed any kind of a crime. Well, now police in Oklahoma are upping the ante a little bit. The State Patrol has bought so-called ERAD readers. What those do is they allow police to scan any cards that are in your pocket or your wallet, cards including your bank cards, any type of gift cards, find out how much money is on there and seize that money unless you can give them some good reason as to why you have it.
This reasoning turns every concept of innocent until proven guilty on its head. And State Senator Kyle Loveless says cases where police abuse this new system have already come to light, including single mothers, a cancer survivor who had their medication seized, a Christian band, and a number of other completely innocent people. Loveless said, "We've seen where the money goes and how it's spent." Guys, police and state troopers who pull you over and fine you for disobeying arbitrary laws are already road pirates. This just intensifies their policing for profit racket that they already have going. A local news station already obtained a copy of the contract between the state and ERAD Group Incorporated, which shows Oklahoma paying $5,000 for the software and scanners, then 7.7% of all the cash the highway patrolman seizes. But law enforcement obstinately claims that this isn't about money. And you can trust them, right? Lieutenant Vincent said, "I know a lot of people are just going to focus on us seizing money. That's a small thing that's happening now. The largest part that we've found, the biggest benefit has been the identity theft." Lieutenant Vincent did not explain any further. Now guys, the controversy over civil asset foreclosure, or CAF, surrounds the fact that law enforcement is under no obligation to prove the property it seized could in any way be tied to criminal activity. Once police have your property, most departments are free to essentially divvy it up any way they see fit. Countless cases dot headlines around the country, evidence thousands of innocent people as victims in this financial terrorism perpetrated by the government. Police even managed to seize $53,000 from a Christian band, an orphanage, and a church. Earlier this year, one of the creators of CAF tellingly called for the program to be abolished. And though it was briefly suspended, the Department of Justice allowed CAF to resume in April. Senator Lovelace feels a conviction should be necessary for police to seize money using ERAD, and plans to introduce legislation. "If I had to err on the side of one versus the other, I would err on the side of the Constitution," he explained. And I think that's what we need to do. Guys, here's the deal. These road pirates found a technologically advanced way to steal more of your money. And what's astonishing about this to me is that it's happening in my own home state of Oklahoma. Oklahoma is like one of the reddest states in the union. Once other states get wind of this, you can bet there's going to be a rush to get more of these ERAD machines so that other states can technologically fill up more of their coffers at a higher rate. So I close with the supposed words of George Washington. "Government is not reason. It is not eloquence. It is force. Like fire, it is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. Never for a moment should it be left to irresponsible action." What we have here with the ERAD machine is gross irresponsible action on the part of authoritarian parasites. Guys, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. If you want to support the work I do here, head on over to my store and pick up one of these hard-hitting, conversation-starting shirts that are pretty much guaranteed to provoke thought and spark dialogue as we continue to educate people about what's actually going on in the world today and how these issues directly affect us as individuals. You'll find the link to the store in the description below, and you can use the 5OFF promo code to get your discount. Until next time, remember what Thomas Edison said: "Opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work." Let's roll up our sleeves and do the work that it's going to take to change this world. I'll see you guys in the next video.